Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Margaritas with Marguerita Cheng, CFP Pro. I'm Hope Katz Gibbs, producer of the show on the Incandescent Radio Network and Incandescent TV. You are going to love our guest, Pamela Jackson Sams. She is talking about the importance of providing financial advice to women. Just a little bit about Pam. For 20 years, she's been helping women improve their personal and financial wealth through solid financial life planning. She focuses on helping her clients secure their financial futures so they can sleep well at night. Well, amen to that. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Miss Rita.
Well, thank you so much, Hope. And Pamela, so excited to elevate you and be here with you today.
Mhm. Thank you for having me today.
Of course. So I think the best place to start, of course, we all want to know about your designation in behavioral finance, but
Mhm.
how and why did you get started in financial service?
Exactly. It's been quite a journey, but it started in 2001, actually, when my dad passed away, leaving my mom a widow after 50 years of marriage. Trying to figure out finances on her own. So my parents are part of a older generation where men took care of most of the household finances. Not to say that my mother did not know what was going on, but during that generation, most of the time it was more of the day-to-day finances versus kind of the overall look, the outlook, longer outlook for that. I had just gotten a financial management designation after getting an MBA. I had two kids back to back in graduate school in 1999, and really was just trying to figure out what my next best step was, staying home with them. And then that happened with my dad, and I was able to really kind of step in and help my mother figure out her finances. So I figured there are other women similar to my mother's situation that may have needed assistance. So in 2002, I hung out my shingle with the mission to really help women, single by choice, divorced, and widowed, help out their work with their finances so they can sleep well at night.
I always tell people the best portfolio is the Swan portfolio. People are like, what do you mean? I'm like the one that allows you to sleep well at night, the Swan
Mhm.
portfolio.
Exactly.
So, um, as mentioned, we're here to celebrate you. Um, but I know it's not been an easy journey. What are some of the challenges you had early on in career? Like you had two kids back to back, as I did, 96, 98. There's
Yeah.
not that many women from
Mhm.
underrepresented community balancing a family. Um, what are
Yeah.
some of the challenges that you experienced early
Yeah, I'm
on?
sure I'm sure it was fairly similar challenges. Like you said, I started my career when my children were still fairly young. So I had a very supportive husband that was able to really kind of stay at home with them during those long nights where we used to have to smile and dial to get clients that way. Of course, my mission was to work primarily with women, but when you start this industry, you got to start where you can and take anybody who's breathing. You got to pay the bills, right? So that was some of the challenges earlier on is really trying to get really good work-life balance and understanding that. So I remember having a manager when I was with my firm that I started with, really just saying, this is probably not going to work out for me. I have to be home with my babies. These late nights are not going to work out. So he said, if you come up with a better solution, I'm all for it. So that's why I do a lot of speaking. So I started doing lunch and learns where I would go to offices and really educate people on their money. So I started doing a lot of speaking so I wouldn't have to do the dialing so I can get some more work life balance from that. But of course, with any industries, building a book of business and building it brick by brick is a lot of challenge earlier on, making sure you have enough resources in. I probably mentally in my mind quit this business a gazillion times because it's hard in the beginning. Really, just trying to, like I said, build it brick by brick, and then getting that work life balance because you're gone a lot trying to build a business. So those were really some of the challenges and I'm glad that I stayed in the business because, like I said before, my mission was really to help women. And in my mind, if I was figuring if I wasn't there, who else would help? So that's kept me going on building my business was being able to be that go-to advisor for women.
Which is so important. We are so glad that not only did you stay in the business and survive in the business, but you're here thriving, and so are your clients.
Mhm.
Um, so this is where we know that a lot of times people say, "Well, I manage financial plans, I manage portfolios." Well, no, actually, you manage clients' behavior.
Yes.
So tell us about your behavioral advisor designation.
Yeah, that one's pretty exciting and it's fairly new. I mean, you've probably heard, Rita, that a lot of people are getting into more of what they call the softer side of financial planning, really learning how people make their money decisions. So, several years ago, I decided to get a behavioral financial advisor designation. I had been having these conversations primarily with my clients before, working primarily with women. We tend to be a little bit more emotional when it comes to our finances and our money. So, really understanding where that comes from and why they do certain things with their money. So in order for them to move forward, I needed to understand where they've been with their money. So the conversation was really rooted on how did they grow up with money? What are their emotions behind money? Where do you feel money in your body? Because a lot of times, if you're anxious about money, you get stomach aches, you get headaches, you get all of these different concerns. And I can put together a laid out financial plan, but implementation was my challenge. So I decided to kind of incorporate some of what I learned undergraduate. I do have a minor in psychology, and then really just kind of marry it with the traditional financial planning. That's what behavioral financial advice is really understanding the emotions and the psychology, partnered with the traditional financial planning tools that you have. So the conversations always start with my clients is how did you grow up with money? What was your parents like with money? Did you get an allowance? What did you do with your first paycheck? People form their money habits by the age of 6. So we really need to understand what the 6-year-old self is thinking, because sometimes it could still be running in the background of some of my clients. So I do need to understand that initially in order to move them forward. So that's what I do with my behavioral financial advisor designation is really understand the psyche of the client and understanding how I need to move forward with
No, it's which is so important, the money mindset. I mean, I'm
them. Hmm.
thinking about what was I doing when I was 6? But it's
Yeah.
also important that it's culturally relevant and
Hmm.
culturally sensitive
Correct.
to the communities where we serve. Um, as mentioned, we're celebrating you. Happy birthday. It was your birthday this week, and Christmas and many other holidays are just around the corner. Some words of wisdom to support other women who are in financial services. What could you share with them?
Hmm. Yeah, and as you know, Rita, this is a tough business, so you have to have some thick skin and also some perseverance, because sometimes you'll get down in understanding where you need to take yourself and catapult if you're um, in the ditches sometimes try to figure it all out. So I really encourage, especially in this industry, it's not a whole lot of us. I was just speaking with a colleague at a who went to a conference, actually the FPA conference, and it wasn't a whole lot of women there, and it wasn't a whole lot of women of color in the room. So we need representation in this industry. So you need to stay. So get support systems. Yeah, I mentor several women, several financial advisors who are women, to really help them understand why they need to be representing business. It's a great business for women. Particularly, we have those skills that we need to. We're more nurturing, so that's what I would really encourage is that when you get down in this business, really try to find help. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Get a mentor. Understand where you need to take your business. It is a business. So treat it as such as well. Um, but it is very fruitful once you learn and have the tools in order to do so.
So, Pamela, I have so much respect for you, and I love what you said about building everything brick by brick. You have a strong foundation, your minor in psychology, your MBA. I mean, you are able to, as you mentioned, not just have those hard skills, analytic skills, but the soft skills to help people implement the financial plan. Where can people This is time for you to share your social media handles and
Mhm.
your website. Where can people learn more about your work and follow you?
Exactly. So, of course, they can start at my website, which is jacksonsams.com, JACKSONSAMS.com. Wealth of information there. If you go, you'll find out all about swans. So you'll see swans. Swan is part of my logo. So it is an acronym, which is sleep well at night, but it's also a metaphor. So what I tend to tell people is that what I do is take people's ugly duckling financial situations and then transform them into beautiful financial swans. So I tend to say that the clients who work with me are my swans. So it's a whole community that I build so they can find out more about that on my website. And of course, social media at Jackson Sam's Wealth on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Not sure if I'm going to stay, you know what's going on in that world. But it is Jackson Sam's WS, but they limit those characters. But those are some areas to find me. And if you Google me, you know, you'll find out where I'm speaking. I do a lot of speaking as well. I have some conferences coming up in 2023 that I'm fairly excited about.
Well, congratulations and thank you so much. Now back to you, Hope.
Thank you. Wow. Cheers to you, woman. Truly amazing. I love it. I'm very excited. In the spring issue of my women's magazine, Incandescent Women, we're going to feature women like you, and Rita's going to be our cover story for that. She's got a new book coming out, and we're very excited to bring women like you into more visibility. So thank you for being part of Margaritas with Marguerita Cheng. And thank you, Rita. It's another wonderful episode. To our audience, we so appreciate you being here. Cheers to you all. And we will tune in. Please tune in again for another episode of Margaritas with Margarita. I'm Hope Katz Gibbs, producer of the show on the Incandescent Radio Network and Incandescent TV. We will see you soon. Thank you so much for being part of our Incandescent Radio and TV family. This is Hope Katz Gibbs, founder of Incandescent Incorporated, the PR and publishing company for women entrepreneurs. Our Incandescent Radio and TV shows are brought to you by our advertisers and clients. Margaritas with Marguerita Cheng, CFP Pro, brings us 15 minutes of tips every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live, where you'll meet experts who are helping us flex our financial muscles. Find all of the episodes at margueritacheng.com. You'll also meet intuitive psychotherapist Kara Keem, who interviews therapists and other intuitive guides from around the world. Learn more at karakeem.com. And you're going to love social justice expert Karen Hanrahan, CEO of the San Francisco-based Glide Memorial Foundation. She bridges the gap from local impact to global change on her Thought Leadership show on Incandescent Radio. Learn more about Karen at KarenHanrahan.com. You're also going to love Alina Liao, founder of the radical wellness journaling company, ZenitJournals.com. Alina asks, have you tried to journal but found it hard to keep up? Zenit makes it easier to journal for your wellness. With Zenit, you can customize your journal with prompts that speak to you, no more blank pages. Your Zenit is your personalized space to take care of yourself. Website, ZenitJournals.com. Feel it, write it, Zenit. You'll also meet amazing Tracy Schott, founder of Voices for Change. Tracy is determined to change the world and end domestic violence. Learn more at voicesforchange.net. And we are so thrilled to be publishing a book for Angela Mitchell, who is the tech expert of case management. And she's also the founder of this fabulous organization, Kids Code 2. She is determined to teach kids to code computers. Talk about teaching a kid to fish. We invite you to discover and peruse all the Incandescent Incorporated websites, the magazine For Women, By Women, About Women, incandescentwomen.com. Our health and wellness magazine is beincandescent.com, the business of mind, body, spirit, soul, and heart. Our YouTube channel is incandescent.tv, and you can learn about our PR and book publishing services at incandescent.us. If you'd like to have your own radio and video show, check us out at incandescentradio.com, where you can see what we can do for you. These podcasts are also featured on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Our podcasts are produced by Brandy Wilsker. Our videos are produced by Nelson Benavides. Our website developer is Max Kukoy, and our incandescent illustrator and designer is Michael Glenwood Gibbs. If you'd like to learn more, please send me an email, hope@hopegibbs.com. Here is to your incredible, indelible, incandescent success. Much love and many